Yeah, it becomes very, very difficult to try and get back once you've kind of been put in that trap and they're ahead and they've got that momentum going forward in a map like Vault. It's just super difficult, just due to the nature of it. I mean, the good thing about it is that this map is widely beloved in Black Ops 6, so a lot of people who play the game competitively are going to have a lot of reps on this map because it's a stock standard map. It's Vault hardpoint. So nothing to expect here. We're just going to see how these teams play and gives us a good indicator of what we're going to expect for this series. As you said, we're going to be keeping our eyes on Carleton Ravens to see what they bring to the table here against a pretty tough opponent. But let's get into things. Map number 1, hardpoint, underway.
First gunfight's a middle map, won by the Ravens. Team's a good control here. I mean, it's a 3-for-1 off the opening breaks. You're happy with that. You're going to get some solid hill time to start things off here. Respawn for Farmingdale State will try to push themselves up the map. Tez will play on an island by himself, waiting for the rest of his team to try and fly into middle map. Starry, another good kill. Once again, 3-for-1. Ravens, opening break looking good.
Yeah, a lot of big kills coming here from P1 and also a lot of time. And they've got to worry about P2 as well, so the rotations need to come in here shortly. It's just a lot of mixy gunfights that they're causing FSC to really get involved in. We've got Stim now getting a nice 2-piece on the hill, grabs a bit of time for himself, but a little bit too little too late. 15 seconds left. It's not a lot of scrap you can grab, enough to even things up potentially, and the hill just remains white. They go and fight for P2. There's a massive 1v1 in the back, 4 versus 8, and it will be Chip coming out on top, so a massive kill there. Allows the reinforcements to come on in, and Evoke has to try and pick up the scraps now. 1 HP just playing for his life.
Well, he's forced to play passive too while his teammates try to sprint back across the map. You have his pinch set up with Starry on the back end, so should be able to at least maybe find 1. Evoke through the back, and Tez will pair for 2, so it's a split on both sides. Farmingdale should be able to get themselves some hill time, and will spawn secure. But I mean, hey, Chip tried to make the play. The route man was there. Unfortunately, just didn't have enough gunfights to take where he can actually be effective in the back line. The rest of the teammates just spawned out.
Yeah, not getting the spawns, big blunder, but Ailey trying to do as much as he can on that point. Not quite enough, though. Still a lot of time, soaking up towards FSC, and now you've got to try and regroup, go towards P3. Tez gets caught on the rotation, and at least they don't have to worry about too many plays, just Stim, actually. Round man now trying to get through the back line and make this very difficult coming in towards this next point, but yeah, I don't know how I really see this next series of rotations going if they continue to just throw themselves at these hills and not really having much thought to it, because you saw Stim gets in the back, flips the spawns, and P3's online with yet another great rotation from FSC.
Well, I was curious because, like, you know, Stim had a spot where he was playing the block for spawns, but they were still spawning at least close enough to pool to push towards P2. And once they continued to flood for that back half of time, it was only a matter of time until Farmingdale State sent another player across the map and they fully flipped it out. So, again, props to Stim. Gets themselves the rotations, but the map flips out once again. So, for Carleton, you know, you're not in the worst spot in the world, but this hill time, especially if the gunfights continue to be won by Farmingdale State over the top, this could turn into a money hill very, very quickly. It's going to be a bit chaotic, but Farmingdale State recognizes that they're going to spawn in. They're going to tell them to turn around and hill.
I think Bane wasting a bit of time here, though. Allows the rest of his team to get in on that point. Does get found pretty quickly. But still, only 18 seconds they can grab. Still a very even game, but it's these small wins that I'm seeing from FSC that could snowball into a much bigger effect later on. But some good time at least grabbed here. They've got to rotate. They've got to try and get these kills towards you. And you see number 2, Starry, spawns up close, has a big gunfight in the back line, does win it as well. So that spawns towards Carleton. And off of the back of some nice scrap time from these past 2 points, they'll be looking pretty good here to make this some sort of money hill. You got Evoke trying to push up with the AR, but not going to have a lot of success.
Yeah, I mean, my eyes were glued to Tez while he was in the back trying to play for P4 spawns. And really the unfortunate part of it is that if he would have just played a bit passive, allowed his teammates to push back up the map, it could have given them those spawns for P4. Instead, Carleton are going to be able to get in. This could be a big soak for them. I mean, you're looking at potentially a 40-point game after this hill's over, maybe eclipsing that 100-point mark. We'll see what Farmingdale State can do on the break. They've got 1-for-1 trade so far, 3 versus 3 back towards the hill.
Yeah, this is a great hold so far. So much time soaked up. That lead now starting to extend, and you've got no one from FSC even getting close. And they're trying to get in, but Starry with this AR position will just cause havoc. That's a 3 down, possibly a late 4 as well. They're still stuck here, so they try and get the rotations towards P1 again, but I think you can be pretty happy with that. Double the points now, 50-point lead almost, and you're looking good going towards the second set of rotations.
Absolutely. I mean, it must be said, Carleton playing a much better game than most of us thought was going to at least be the storyline going out of map 1 or even into the halfway point. Farmingdale State, so far, have just been beat, plain and simple. Rotations have been very strong from the Ravens, and they've been able to win crucial gunfights in each of the respective areas of the map. Carbonized, sure, you're able to get a little trade for one, and maybe it's a consolation prize for a bit of hill time, but you're going to lose a lot of that top map control. You don't have Catwalk at the moment if you are FSC, and if the Ravens are able to make another break stick, they could get even more good hill time out of this. They're really just trying to control that right side of the map for P2 spawns.
Yeah, I like that they slowed it down a bit, trying to get some of these angles out, but they didn't really have much success. It costed a lot of time and a lot of players, and they didn't really get much value out of it. And you can see they're trading out, but that's fine, considering P1 has just been lit up by FSC this whole time, and there is nothing they can do about it. But the ARs trying to fight towards top control here. Don't think it really matters too much going in towards P2, because they already have the rotations, but it's a lot of time on P1, and now Farmingdale has all the time they need to get towards this P2 break.
Decently even in the back line. Starry should hear the water. Hop over the pool. Good shots in. Backs off wisely. Needs to recognize that a few players are going to be here. Gunfight's not just yet. Has a lethal to work with. Cooks the nade up. Should be able to weaken up maybe one. Closes the door. Tries to pop back out, but the teammates helping over the top. Going to be able to find a few kills. Carleton inside. FSC tries for the break, and Stim will pop a double in the back end.
Yeah, Stim is having so much value here. We haven't seen a lot of it. We've kind of come on the back end of the kills, but so many freak two pieces in the back line, routing so well for Farmingdale. They have a little bit of a lead here going into it. It will be extended, but this next set of rotations, we know how important it is. P3 into P4 is going to be a massive hold, and definitely the decider going into the end of this game. Or this map, I should say. But Stim's going to try and re-break, try and get some kills here. Does only get one. No players from the side of Carleton getting that rotation in and trying to route.
I don't mind that play from Sim, to be honest. I mean, your teammates have full map presence on the north and east side of the, west side of the map. So not only does that spawn Carleton even closer to the backside of Key 2, but it's going to take longer for them to get over to P3. Good help over the top from Evoke. Will be able to find a double. McBain's still in middle. Map will turn back around. Good shots onto Carbonize, but it's the 3-for-2 trade that allows Farmingdale State to stay on top of things. Inside of P3, they should be able to read this hit from middle map.
Yeah, McBain having so much value here as this AR player. Not really the typical angle that you're going to see out of that AR, but making it work. Now Ailey coming in with that sub, trying to do some damage. Stim, once again, just aggressing this hard point, constantly a nuisance for this team. They make quick work of it, though. Nice 4 down. They'll give them some breathing room, and they continue to extend this lead. And Carleton actually having a great showing here into this back half. They flip spawns, now go into this next point. They get this scrap potentially, and they have rotations for new, so they can lock this in. They did so well in the last set of rotations on P4. They're going to do it again here, yet again. And now Farmingdale yet to break on a very, very tough series of engagements.
I mean, with Vault being the way that it is, there's a lot of empty time sat in the air and a lot of contest moments that happen too. So, I mean, with 2:22 left on the play clock, and only the Ravens at 139 out of the total 250, this very well could go down to game time at the very end of it. So, something to keep an eye on as we get deeper into this. But for P4 right now, Carleton once again set up. Shots in from Tez, good. Wall bangs are going to be able to find themselves onto Eiley. And now you look to the back end. Spawns are still close, but Farmingdale State are pushing up against the map. You've got a pinch starting to kind of make its way through as Eiley gets a weird spawn out.
Tez having a lot of value there. No one really to go off the back of it, but the players start to come on in now. And it is a nice break, so they can stop that bleeding just a little bit. But Stim and Tez have been so impactful towards getting to that backline. We've seen it a lot of times on P4, the attempts, but now finally starting to come through. Chip with a nice 2-piece, but it's not quite enough. The rest of the team is on the point, though, so they're giving up some pretty good time here, all things considered for Farmingdale. The lead still stands 40 points. They go into another set of rotations, the third, and it is just looking like Carleton are kind of on the ball here. Every single rotation they're ahead. Farmingdale yet to really grab that momentum that they're searching for.
I mean, the SMG battle has been won well by the Carleton Ravens, and that's kind of been the story, especially inside of P1, where Farmingdale State don't have much presence. The ARs are just supplementary to the Ravens as well. So as the Rams try to find some sort of map presence, the SMGs need to be the forefront aspect of that hit. And if they're not able to heat up towards the end point of this game, that lead's only going to continue to grow for the Ravens, and Farmingdale State are going to find themselves down 0-1.
Yeah, trying to patch up the bleeding here, but so many players dropping. No reinforcements yet. Coming out of spawn. Tez with a nice kill on the chip, though. Good snap. Trying to go down bottom. Apply this pressure as best he can. but it's just so difficult. McBain grabbing a crucial 2-piece there to completely stun the attack before it even starts, but the spawns still are good for P2 on the side of Farmingdale, and you've got Chip coming through, trying to make some sort of contest, but there's just going to be too many players here. You've got all the angles covered. It's 3 down. McBain, the last, and he will drop Stim with a nasty shot there on the sub, and they completely lock down P2.
And they should realize that everybody from Raven are going to be hitting through middle map R1. Stim towards the outside right, throws a shoulder, tries to peek back out middle. Starry making his way to the back end. Evoke looks the wrong direction with a good snap back, tries for number 2, can't find it. Ailey in the back line, 2-for-1 trades. 3-1 looking for the final 4, but the spawn up in the back. Carbonite's gonna realize, dude, hey, how did he just spawn there? He's gonna run to the back end, and now it's a 3v3 with a pinch coming from Chip on the pool side. Oh, this could be terrible for FSC.
Yeah, they continue to try and apply this pressure, even with the dodgy spawns. Still P2 online. Stim, last player left. Starry gets inside the point. They're trying to trade out. Stim finds nice 2. Carbonite's with a nice team nade on there, unfortunately. But they clean house. And, I mean, wow, what a weird and awkward series of engagements that Farmingdale do a great job of at least dealing with for the meantime. They need to get the rotation now, though. You got number 3. You've got Ailey trying to get through. The only play there for Carleton, but I think spawns might be good. Not quite. Somehow it gets blocked. They spawn. Oh, it's split spawns. That makes more sense. And now they're going to try and aggress this point. But you've got a lot of players to deal with. You have a lot of information to go off of. And the time just starts to tick away, and Carleton can afford it. They're close to that finish line. They're grabbing some crucial time here. As much as Farmingdale are doing their best to try and grab the positioning, it's just not paying off for them.
Tez had a huge route. He made his way through Vault and tried to get inside of top P4. And unfortunately, he just wasn't able to get top arc control. So you lose that gunfight. Now, Farmingdale State, you're forced to play through the middle of the map, and you don't have any power positions on the opposite end. So yes, you can play the contestation through the B window inside of the mid point. Yes, that's great. However, you still need this player below the window in Tez to try and find maybe 1 or 2 more kills. Chip has to be found out. Unfortunately, stays alive, but he gets traded out. Evoke there. This could be huge for the back spawns. McBain now the last piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, he needs to stay alive. Unfortunately, that's dropped by Stim, so now they've got a great opening here. The spawns are in. They've got the players to deal with it. You're dropping them in the front line, but it's okay. Those spawns still locked in. The block is good. And now Carleton, for the first time in this map, not grabbing that P4 rotation, and they will have to be the ones to break. They can afford to drop a little bit of time here, but still, every point right now making the difference between these two teams. Very evenly matched on this, at least hard point so far. And Evoke in the back line, just lining them up with his AR, making this a nightmare for Carleton to try and get on through.
Montez knows that there's still one back there. He's going to get a close spawn from his teammate as well. We're about tied up here in map 1. Carleton Ravens trying to break back across the map. This is the first time that Farmingdale State have been able to hold down P4. Carbonite's in the corner, gets snuffed out. 2 players now trying to break their way in. Contestion, not good. Stim trades for 1. Last 2 players now trying to fly their way forward. Ailey, snapshots, good for the second. Unfortunately, though, it's everybody there for Farmingdale State. They'll continue to hold down P4, but it's not over yet.
Big time. They don't win off of it, but they will be mighty close coming into P1. And Carleton have not been great at holding that P1 so far in this map. And they have to have a lot of time going into this. Oof. It'll be 5 points differential going through for Farmingdale as they try and close out this map. P1 is about to become online. And Carleton have to throw every single player at this point if they are looking to survive. Ailey now in the point with the sub, able to find the help with Starry and Chip. An unfortunate team kill there as well. We've got one more player to deal with. I'm not sure if they got confused in the kill feed, but it's a late 4, and they hold on for a little bit longer. Still, the spawns coming in, the cavalry coming in as well, and Chip cuts down at least 1 player. You're trying to get them through, but the time is just ticking, and it's not your friend.
Oh, no.
Stim, though, wow, what a play. He actually finds 2 and gets on in with a break, and is able to find the 3rd massive with the help of Tez, and that'll be a closer if I've ever seen one for Farmingdale, and unexpected, mind you. I was watching that, I was thinking, how's this going to play out? You've got players coming around, but still, Farmingdale with a nice win there to clutch it out towards this hard point, but a very close match, Corn. Something we didn't expect, definitely going into this, right?
I mean, no. I mean, look, you had a 40-50 point advantage going to P2. You know, Farmingdale starts to close that door a little bit sooner. I thought that spawn back from Starry was going to pretty much wrap the game up in a sense where they were almost able to put that one away. A lot of P3 time was lost because they were trying to play so hard for top art and then the P4 spawns as well. And when they put so much effort into that, neglecting the hill, Farmingdale State were able to accrue a good amount of time there, started to get themselves back in the game. And then, hey, guess what? We throw ourselves all the way back over to P4 where instead of being able to push all the way through and play for it, the kind of backstepped approach to just trying to play for map control ends up biting you in the butt, and you lose P4 spawns. Farmingdale State's able to hold down P4, and that's pretty much GG's and all she wrote for map 1. You played a good first rotation, 2 rotations, but Farmingdale State, again, composure is there. You know, the question was, without CDL, Pubstar, without Spades, what does this team look like in a best-of-5 series, or at least a given hardpoint map? At least in map 1 there, they started a bit slow, turned it up towards the end. They just can't afford those slow starts every map.
I think it's just those small wins I was talking about early on into that map. It was just not going their way early on, and we saw it snowball into this effect going forward, and you can see it here on the graph as well. Carleton at least grabbing that kind of middle ground in the middle of the map where they were having that lead and continuing to try and extend it, but towards the end, you can see it right there. Farmingdale just took off, and we're able to chain together some nice hills and grab some crucial wins that netted them that map 1. But coming to a Hacienda, I don't know how I'm going to see this playing out, honestly. Watching those two teams, we saw some crucial plays there from both the ARs and subs from both rosters, and now coming into a Hacienda, 1-0 down. Carleton need to try and bring this back on the search.
I don't think it's necessarily going to be a matter of, you know, watching this game hoping that Carleton can bring it back. I think from that first map there, what we saw was a team full of confidence. This Ravens roster, you know, the last time we really saw them play, at least memorable for myself, at like top levels of competition, was back when like Hawk and 47 used to play for this team. And like that was fun back in like the Cold War days, for example, right? And I know really we haven't heard much of this Carleton school in quite some time in the CCL. But making their way back, I genuinely didn't know what to expect out of this roster, and that was kind of the main talking point at the top of the show, right? Is that we haven't seen them in the Cold War, or excuse me, in the Black Ops 6 season yet. We didn't see them in the preseason S&D tournament. We didn't see them in the preseason Hardpoint tournament or the Variant tournament. So it was difficult to kind of get a read on what this team would bring to the table against a Farmingdale roster that competed for not only a playoff spot last year, but competed for the regional championship up against Fisher. So there were a lot of question marks, yes, coming in about Fisher and what this roster again would look like without CDL Pubstar, without Spades. And I do think they lose a little bit of firepower in that regard, specifically with the SMGs, and I think that was very prevalent in map 1 of what we kind of saw. But at the same time, I think Carleton kind of got the pacing against Farmingdale State correct. It was just a few missteps towards the end of the game there. It was they realized they were up. They were trying to flood the hill more and try to send bodies there more so than anything else until about P3, P4. But that P2, they were just hitting solo chows over and over and over again. And the plays earlier in the game that Farmingdale State were able to adapt to, like the chip rotation early through P2 to try and get the spawns there, was read like a book. It was a double team that he got caught off by. Then Carleton had to push through middle map. Sure, that wayward spawn comes up in the backside of P2 spawns. But the gunfights were still won by Farmingdale State. And then after that, it was more so we just got to throw bodies at the end of the game on that P4 hit. They had a good hold in P1 at the end of the game there, all you know, be completely candid. But again, it's so hard to hold P1 for a significant portion of time on a map like Vault. There's so many entry points to that site, especially having to watch Top Cat at the same time. A comeback of 40 points on the hill feels kind of astronomical at times, and unfortunately for the Ravens, it was there. But again, I think this team, you know, at least from what I saw in one map, and I don't want to put everything in, you know, eggs in one basket off of one map, but they do genuinely look pretty good as a 4-man roster.
Yeah, and considering they don't have that experience like you were talking about in the previous seasons and titles, it's interesting to see how they're playing. I like what I'm seeing out of them. It's something that's pretty rare, especially in a hard point and from a team where they take that time. Of course, it didn't quite go the way that they wanted it. I saw it on P1 most notably, but I'm sure it was in other aspects of the game as well. But they take the time to try and set up a play, right? They're not trying to rush to the point. They're not trying to give any bodies. They're just trying to get information, play off of that information, try and find the pick and get that opening. It didn't quite go their way in that map, but I at least like to see that, because it just feels like, especially when you watch a game like Call of Duty where it's so fast paced, that there's just always someone running, always someone shooting, always someone sprinting. And sometimes it's good to just try and take that step back, go, okay, what's happening? Why aren't we getting to this point? You know, what do we need to do to break? And I think that's some good fundamentals to have going into it. It's fairly rare, I would say, especially on a map like Vault. It's not like a crazy lockdown map, right? There's plenty of routes you can take. There's a lot of directions you can go, and a lot of ways that you can play. So I like what I saw coming into a S&D. I think that might pay off for them if they have that same sort of mentality going into it, which I expect. You know, you need to have that kind of methodical playstyle to you when you come into a game mode like Search and Destroy. It's more tactical. Can't be as rash. You can't just rely on the pure gunny a lot of the time because you'll get caught. There's a lot of lanes that you can hold on Hacienda that'll make this very difficult, especially a lot of pressure on those ARs. But I think I saw from both teams, you know, ARs were shooting, you know, no real clear issue here. So it'll be interesting to see these teams go head to head on a map like Hacienda. I think it'll be pretty evenly matched, all things considered. Saw it in the hard point, but I mean, I would expect to see it again here in the Search as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I'll say this too. I think going forward, a lot of the times when you watch a hard point, you can kind of get an idea for how a player will play in an S&D. Chip for Carleton, just to kind of pick somebody who we haven't really had much to highlight just because we haven't seen them before. I really did like some of the routes that he was trying to take around the map. He ended up being that backline player a lot of the times. He was trying to find, again, those routes over towards P2, back into P3 and P4. He knows where he needs to be on the map, and he has the right idea of the positioning that is going to take to win a map. And in an S&D, I feel like that is also completely candid to how you play in a hard point, because you know where you're going to need to take that first gunfight or be the aggressor at. So him having that AR and being able to kind of play that role that they're going to need him to play, I don't necessarily foresee him being the one to take that first gunfight or be that initial on-site aggressor. He's not going to be your entry player into a site and then try to get that trade frag. It's going to be more so he's going to take that calculated approach, make sure the rest of the map is being picked up, and then be able to push that agenda forward. So I think that is what I want to see out of Chip in this Search and Destroy. Again, you can't tell everybody's playstyle from every little detail on a map, but it gives you a good indication going forward. I do have one kind of concern though for the side of Carleton, and that's more or less just it's trying to match pace against Farmingdale State, because Hez and Carbonize, yes, all without their former two players that they had last year, Search and Destroy is going to be a little bit harder to get that initial grip on at the beginning of the season, but I still think their playstyle is going to translate to the rest of that team, and I think they're all going to kind of play that generalized playstyle of aggress to a site and just get there first. They'll worry about the gunfights later. They're just going to try and headbutt the way that they can to get onto a site. If Carleton's able to do that like they did inside of P1 in those opening engagements at the hard point, sure, you're looking at a really good bang out S&D here on Hacienda. I'm just more or less wondering what's going to be the favored play style. Is it going to be a little bit more passive? Are we going to see a few more of those late and calculated hits from Carleton? It looks like right up the middle originally. Look, Tez had kind of decent shots. I'm not gonna lie, they're kind of shaky. It must have been the wind or something, but yeah, he had the right idea.
Just there, mate.
Not the well-placed shot.
Let's not be too generous. Not great from him. Running down the middle of the map and then also being in an awkward fight and then just shooting whirlies. Yeah, don't know about that, but still, bomb down, post plant in effect now as Starro tries to defend. And I mean, it's gonna be a bit mixy here when you've got a lot of players just running it down. You know, Hacienda is not traditionally one of those maps where you can get away with it, and we see it here again for Farmingdale. One player left. It's gonna be Carbonize, trying to clutch out a 1 versus 3. With the bomb down in a very awkward situation. Yeah, look, not looking great for them so far in round 1.
No, and you know, Hacienda being a map where, like, you know, you can't watch every angle, it does become a bit easier if, you know, you just pick one line of sight and you kind of just prepare for it. Sure, you can run it down, but I mean, this is still doable in a 1v3. Doesn't look like the timing is going to be bad. Starry's still going to be over towards that right side, over by the vineyard. So his Carbonize will slide all the way through. Might have been spotted out in towards you, and he's going to have 2 players running at him. Yeah, McBain and Ailey will be over the top, so that's a round. But, I mean, that just kind of goes back to the point I was making before, right, where, yes, Tez runs it down through middle map. He tries to get aggressive towards the bottom of their side building, and, like, Carleton played it slower. They kind of sat on their headies. They waited for Farmingdale State to make the move up the map, and yeah, sure, Tez probably shouldn't have won that gunfight regardless, but shots were missed. So, I mean, that's a good opportunity early on, but still, that's what I like to see out of Carleton.
Yeah, I don't think it's a crazy read from Carleton to think, hey, let's just play a bit passive here and see kind of, 1, what they're going to do, but 2, if they get a little bit over-aggressive. And exactly what happened. We're going to see it here again now. Defense for the side of Farmingdale as they try and gear up to take on Carleton here in round number 2. But Bomb looks like it's trying to work its way towards A. You've got Tez around the side here looking to try and get some of these picks. Another play gets through as well. I believe it's Stim. Yeah, sorry, the numbers confuse me still to this day. He does get caught, though. Chip takes care of him. 3 versus 4. Carleton still yet to get the bomb down, but all things considered, pretty good so far.
I was going to say, McBain, I mean, that's good positioning. I don't know if I would have given myself up that early unless you know you had a guaranteed kill. Because now you have Farmingdale State all rotating back over towards the site. Sure, you're down a player. Carbonized. Oh, slide out from Ailey. Good shots. Evoke in the backline will get caught out. McBain, I mean, it was called out to the rest of the team, but how do you try to prepare for that gunfight? 1 versus 4. Tez last one alive. Good luck, have fun, brother. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much what you can expect from that one. I mean, look, again, the aggression tries to come through. I don't hate, you know, making a having a sub and trying to make a play. But as you said, I don't know about giving yourself up that quickly. Wait till the play starts to develop naturally across the map rather than trying to make the play yourself by grabbing through the back line. The round had barely started. You didn't have to try and throw your life there through the back and make yourself known. Given, yes, you don't have information. You don't know where the players are going to be if you're going to get caught out. But at the same time, that's even more reason to probably be cautious when you're that deep because you got the route through success, but you kind of didn't execute it as well as you probably could have. Regardless, it's going to be attacked yet again. 2-0 up now to Carleton. Taking into round 3. Bomb going towards B, and it looks like it's going to be a fast hit from Farmingdale. Unfortunately, Tez gets dropped. Carbonized as well. Chip with a nice double. One more player going to get found and damaged. Pressured out. So already a very tough round yet again for FSC Esports.
When do we decide that headbutting a wall is not going to be the play for Farmingdale State?
Yeah.
Hopefully it's sooner rather than later. Yeah, Evoke might be able to escape here, but he's in the water. Ailey's going to read it out, and Carleton will take their 3rd straight round. So it's like, sure, okay, we've had our, you know, our offensive opportunity in the 1st round. Tez, couple shots went wayward. Sure, whatever. Second time the offensive doesn't work, and you know, the SMGs are getting to the spots faster for Carleton than Farmingdale State is ready for. This is where we start to switch up our game plan a little bit. Maybe take a slower approach to some of these rounds. Find a kill to get everybody comfortable on the map. And then work from there. It's not about, you know, finding 2-3 pieces here and there and then being able to take a round. What you want is everybody to get comfortable on the map, and that's what they need to focus on these next few rounds. One at a time. Just take this next round a little bit slower. See what Carleton does. Are they going to 2-hit things? Are they going to try and split things across the map? That's what you need to be taking away from these rounds.
Yeah, 100%. And you can see already not a single arrow trying to get over aggressive from the side of FSC, which is what we want to see. We don't want to be seeing the same thing over and over again. But admittedly, it is tough when you don't have set strats for a certain map or game mode like Search and Destroy. It's going to be tough. But already, Tez drawing blood. And the first time that we've seen them have an advantage early on, the bomb does go down, so post plant's in effect, but you've got players to work with on this retake. Just how do Farmingdale respond?
Got to double up. You can only play the backline angle so long before you have to start making your way forward. You know somebody's probably going to be playing inside of you for contention, so this is great. The player that I'm most concerned about is Chip all the way in the back, and I'm glad he's starting to push his way up the map, not recognizing, hey, there's not a flank coming through. I need to get back to the site with my team. Tez is going to be here on the outside. We'll see what happens as he tries to push his way forward.
Yeah, not a lot of time to work with, though. 18 seconds, clock starting to tick down. Ailey gets aggressive, able to find one. So now a 3 versus 3, but 12 seconds left. Someone has to hop the bomb, and it has to be now. Tez finds McBain. Carbonite trying to get on the bomb. Ailey still being a nuisance, and no one on the defuse. So round 1 for Carleton yet again. And I gotta say, a very nice round yet again. They get the bomb down. They know they have a player, a man disadvantage, but they play it to perfection. They stole the time. FSC have nothing to answer with, and that'll be 4 straight for Carleton. And my goodness, I mean, what a round yet again. Just round after round, these guys are performing. I liked that we saw a change, but I just don't think it was quite enough, and it's a little too late at this point.
I wanted them to slow it down, but only for the beginning portions of the round. Once you get that first pick, that's when you have map presence. So you know that nobody's over by B. You have a teammate out there who has watched the entire lane from start to finish in the round. Nobody's by rock. You know that the bomb's going down today. You're not there for it. You can't do anything with it. And then you just sit in the back line with 2 ARs watching over the top, and you allow Carleton just to sit in their corners. You took way too much time, didn't get map presence, and now you force yourself to have to play aggressive again. I like the top Paul's push here. It's not a mid-map bang out this time for Farmingdale, so at least there's a step in the right direction. But Chip's on 5 in a row. You're looking for potential streaks here for the Carleton side. You're down 0-4. You need to make something happen, and just festering in the middle of the map's not going to do that.
Yeah, they had no idea that all 4 players, or at least a good majority of Farmingdale, was in the backline there. Chip drops. So that's first blood yet again. A second victim as well, McBain. now a 2 versus 4, and a very nice round out of Farmingdale. The aggression works off, but they're playing as a team with that aggression. It's the difference we saw in this round, and it pays dividends. Ailey in a 1 versus 4, probably not going to go their way. Charles into 4 people, and yeah, not great there, but I got to give credit to Farmingdale. That's what we need to see. If you're going to play aggressive, work with the team. And case in point, can be better than that. All 4 players run and get that position topside. And what can you do?
All right, there it is. There's the round that they needed. That's the first one. Energy's flowing now. Everybody got in the action on that one. It wasn't just 1 or 2 people making a good play, opening the round up for the rest of the team. You didn't have to make a decision right off the rip. You didn't go A, you didn't go B. You just kind of hit the middle of the map, see what happens, but you play the top control instead of trying to go through the bottom into the feeder of the ARs. So now if you're offense here for Carleton, you're starting to make your way over towards B. And this is what I mean. You can't watch every lane. Farmingdale State, they try to make the call over towards A. It's where Carleton have been going pretty much the entire map on offense. Instead, this time, they go straight up over towards B. This bomb is going to go down fast as hell. And now you're going to try and rotate back over through the P2 side. I mean, really, how much space are you willing to give up on the map? Farmingdale State say, screw it. We're going to give this whole top
the
side.
whole map. Yeah, there was no one there. I mean, look, going for it twice in a row is a bit brave. Didn't quite play off how they probably wanted. Now you're in a post plant, 30 seconds left, no one yet to drop. Carbonize in the back line obviously gets caught because everyone's going to be watching that. Evoke drops the second one here. It's going to be Stim. Sorry, Carbonize and Evoke. My apologies. You've at least got Stim grabbing one back. Tez trying to help. 2 versus 3 though with 13 seconds left. You've got to have the bomb and you've got to get these kills pretty rapidly. 10 seconds, no players left. Tez, no time left. And a 5-1 match point for Carleton, and a very impressive round yet again. I just don't know about the gamble stack. I don't think it really called for it, but that's what it meant. I mean, they're playing very unorthodox. I will say that.
Win some, you lose some. I mean, if you're down 4-1, you know, what's the difference? 2-4, 1-5. I mean, regardless, you know, you have to make that play call. If you run it down over by A, cool. If you run it down over by B and you meet them there, it's a 50-50. You got all 4 bodies there. I mean, there's just really no predicting what the other team's going to do. You can try to, you know, use match cues in previous rounds as a history book and a lesson for what you're going to do in the next round, but it doesn't mean it's going to work out. And that time, obviously, it didn't work out for Farmingdale State, but they'll stick to their guns. They'll send 2 up through middle map. They'll send 2 over towards the rock side. Looks like it's going to be a B hit predominantly here. Middle map being the A site being played by Carleton at the moment, so rock has been given up. It's going to be all about the retake here if the bomb is able to get down successfully. 2 players playing the bottom side for Carleton. Back in their base. Chip doesn't want to get out of the corner that he's in, but hey, recognition, there it is. Rams get the bomb down. Carleton will look for the toes underneath, and well, Chip is going to be forced to play passive. 3 players stacking over by rock.
There's a nice little setup here. Farmingdale, very close quarters though, so we'll see how this kicks off in a minute when they get that entry, and Starry will be the first to strike. Evoke gonna drop. Now you've got the AR up close. Awkward fights, but it does get another one, and Ailey with the help as well, so that'll be all 4 down, and a nice map win. Very anticlimactic, but Carleton at least even it up 1-1 and make short work of FSC in the search and destroy. And we're at least seeing a map 4 here, and I would not be surprised if we see a map 5 as well.
All right, well, storyline's been gassed up for Farmingdale State to come out and probably take a map against the Carleton Ravens, their S&D. Oh, it's going to be better. No, Ravens looked phenomenal in that second map, in that search and destroy. They look well practiced, and that's probably the best way that I can put it. Maybe you don't have to do your homework on Farmingdale State to know that you're going to be facing aggression, but at least at the very minimum, now you know what works against them and what doesn't. Yeah, when Farmingdale State play together and they can play the angles that they need to, sure, it's going to be great. Really, that S&D came down to a lot of crucial 1v1s. Specifically talking about that last round, if you're going to be the contest player playing through middle map, trying to watch the push that's coming through, not only are you looking at a basically kind of like a 30% chance, 33% chance they're going to come from either the left, right, or the middle hop up from P1, but you're going to have to try and take that gunfight, not only with an SMG against an AR, but either you get timinged or you don't shoot straight and you can't win the gunfight up there, and that's automatically going to lead to a pinch on your team. You'd have nobody watching the back contention over from P2. If a flank comes through and everybody collapses on the site, it's pretty much GG. Farmingdale State, they had the opportunity to do that in the previous round. Instead, they just kind of tried to 4-hit all together, and the little 2-2 play that they did just didn't work out because they didn't check the contest corner on the left side. They were more concerned about the rock push when they were trying to break back. So, look, Farmingdale State, they got their asses whooped in that S&D, and there's if, ands, or buts about it. There's no two ways of looking at it. It's only one black and white here. Carleton Ravens, they're going to be able to search forward. So, look, a 1-1 tied series gets a little scarier, but we are going to some bang-out maps. That vault control, though, or excuse me, that vault hardpoint in the beginning of the series has me a little bit worried for this Farmingdale State roster. Carleton, again, there's only so much that I can say about this team after not really counting them as a potential upset here in this first series of the season for each of these two teams, but hey, stranger things have happened. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I think for sure we see a good performance, at least out of Farmingdale, coming into the hard point. I think we're going to see a good one here on control. I don't think it's all going to be like the search and destroy, but I think my biggest concern here is that if Carleton do take this control, and we see Farmingdale take the hard point, and we go to a map 5 or vice versa. I don't know about the search and destroy here from Farmingdale after seeing that. It just seemed like they didn't really have much of a game plan. They didn't really know what they were doing. They were expecting to try and run it down, just win gunfights, but unfortunately that you can't really do that on a map like Hacienda, as we saw, case in point. Even when they tried the 4-stack, it worked one round. They got them that one round, but you miss, and it was just no hope. They couldn't retake. So we're going to have to see how the hard point, the control kicks off for map 3 here shortly. We're going to send it to a quick break. We'll be back with some more CCL shortly. Alrighty, everybody, welcome back. Map number 3 between FSC Esports and Carleton Ravens. We've had a very interesting series so far. Very close map 1 on Vault Hardpoint. Not a very close map 2 on S&D. But now on map 3, we've got control. Back on Vault, so we'll see. We'll see. I don't know what to really expect of this one. I know it's going to be close, but who's taking it? I have no idea.
I don't either. We'll find out. It's Control and another title for Call of Duty, and in the CCL, we get to play it yet again. 3 off the rip, though, for Carleton. Very similar to what we saw early on in the hardpoint on this exact map. 2 life advantage here for the Ravens. That's going to make his way up through side of Vault. Like the little cheeky play to get out. Going to close the doors behind him. Make sure nothing through the entry. But they spot him towards the back end. Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, that's an immediate check out there for him. So, Tess can slide back out if he wants to. Up through middle map, though, it's a double chow. That's going to be hard to take on. So, Farmingdale State, they're going to stall the clock out. They were on B for a moment, but it's a good 2 down for Carleton once again. Still need to take care of Tez. That's great movement from Chip. I'm a little pissed off if I'm Tez right there.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. That was a big win. I was about to say, he's being effective just by staying alive. Unfortunately, he does get caught. And not really any progress. Underway now, so the first tick will come for Farmingdale, but a very awkward series of engagements yet again for both of these teams. Carleton a little bit behind now. They have to try and clear this A zone if they're trying to keep that flawless streak right now, but it looks like A will get capped. They're just going to try and take their reinforcements, go towards B, and lock this in. Evoke left on point, trying to get out with his life, and he does so successfully, only momentarily, and it's pretty even right now going into the back half of this control.
Clean snap. Oh, it was a good stack on the A point. Evoke closed for a moment. Able to knock Ali down. So I got a 3-man hit through the vault. Spawns in the back for Carleton. Good map spread from them on the defensive end. McBain needs to be careful out towards outer palms. He's got help over the top. Sliding into the vault side, Chow. Ailey's there. Stim will win the 1v1. So you go 2-2 split. You put yourselves up a life if you are Farmingdale. Map presence isn't necessarily what you call it at the moment, but a good slide Chow out from Stim will get 2 down once again. He's going to wrap all the way back in through the vault side. They might be able to stack this up.
Oak trying to play his life, trying to stay down. Has the AR in hand on zone. Contested momentarily. Stim tries to trade it out. Does lose his life for that one. Evoke still trying to play his life and survived a lot longer than I would have thought, but no real progress grabbed on B. That's going to get regressed. Carbonized, though, in the back line. Could cause a bit of havoc, but doesn't grab the kill. Now you've got Chip up top aiming it. McBain, and at least they rat out that player, so you've got to reset and regroup if you're Farmingdale to try and push this B zone. It's not going to be easy, I'll tell you what. Pretty even on lives. Still got maybe 2 more waves and 50 seconds to work with if you're Farmingdale.
I did not like that out of Carbonize, if you cannot tell by the way that I moaned and groaned.
I could tell.
I mean, if you're going to take the chow out the back there, that's fine. You're playing a contention point to try and push up into the spawn side of the Ravens. You want to be able to cause havoc, and you want to get top arc control. Instead of going for the top arc control and slipping through the back line uncontested, you just kind of see an outline of a body, like, oh, I'm gonna shoot it, and then you go and just kind of chase it down. And so that's the worst thing that you could have done in that situation instead of playing the isolation. And now you just have McMahon going crazy in the backline spawn. Ailey will finally get traded out, but it's a 4v8 and Chip's pushed up. Laying down, ready for it. Somebody else there for a trade. 3v7. You're going to get on B, but Ailey's flanking once again. You've got one. Tries to snap up for the second. Slides on for a contestation. Carbonize will stay alive. He's got a second player there, but through top part, he's going to launch the body into the air. And that's going to be GG's on the round. Unless a 1v5 happens in 10 seconds.
I mean, I got to say, back on that point of Carbonize, I think most people underestimate the fact that staying alive, as we saw earlier from, I can't remember who it was actually. It might have been Tez. But it just staying alive is causing a lot of pressure on the map. Not only do they not know where you are, they have to send people and drop angles or lanes that they would be picking up otherwise to try and grab that kill, because they can't afford to have you making a play later on and grabbing that opening thread that you need in control, because it literally just flips in a second. We see it time and time again where it just takes that one wave or that one wipe, you get on the point, you stack it, and it's over. So just staying alive there is massive. And of course, giving away the position, I don't want to, talk about a play too much, but it's something to keep note. The patience needs to be worked on, I think, a little bit here from Farmingdale going forward. Carleton, though, again, defense, round 1 win. Not really much surprise. They're already on B, though, trying to make an early B play, but Stim finds a big 2. They still need to get killed, but Evoke here to clean things up and a nice 4 down.
My favorite play in the world. 4-man Dolphin dive through the ball, get on beat. Try to at least get a tick of progress. Unfortunately for the Ravens, it doesn't work out that time, but a valiant effort, and I love the play. 30 seconds ticked off the clock here so far in the second round. First offensive attempt for the Ravens. As Carbonize will drop down in through Vault. Should be up and behind one. Starry's going to be ready for it, so he gets the kill there. Got 2 players stacking on it, 1 on A, both zones. Bit of progress being made on it. No trophies there yet. Evoke's going to have a well-placed nade to weaken one up, force him potentially back into the Vault. Over the top line, you found one inside of you. Ravens get a consolation kill, but it goes 1 for 1. Stim, slide challenge out, almost was able to win the gunfight, but it still kills going the way of Farmingdale State. You've got one more out by the outside palms. If you can find Chip, it should be GG's, and that's pretty much it. And all she wrote at the B site for now. So back on to A, 2 stacked there. 2 players from Farmingdale State looking to push their way in. Again,
not letting up the pressure. Some great kills, at least from Farmingdale, to reset here and stop the bleeding momentarily, but 2 ticks on B is massive already in this control. You're not going to be able to grab that as easily later on once you grab A. So grabbing the 2 ticks already very awkward for Farmingdale. You can see how many players that they're trying to stack here and try and get map pressure. But Carleton have a lot of time here to work with to try and approach this A zone. Grab the players that are going to be nuisances later on, which they do. And they're actually going to go swing back to B, which I love the play. Carbonize grabs a big 2 off screen. Evoke has to try and deal with this player. Has no idea where he is in the point. Now Ailey trying to grab anything really to keep them alive. Stalls only momentarily. Not a lot of lives to work with. Very awkward. 17 seconds left. And what was looking like a great attacking round, Farmingdale have done a great job of shutting down any of those threats before they even start.
Vault defense on control. Gotta love it. So deep in the spawn of the Ravens. I mean, you can just keep continuing to farm kills here off the map if you're Carbonize. All right, 8 in a row.
8 streak as well.
Almost made it 9, but you've got streaks now for Farmingdale State. You've got a Hellstorm to use on a break over towards B to clear a few players out, or maybe even retake it if you're on the defense and things get a bit hairy towards the first part of the round. Look, I always love a good college try towards the B zone off the rip, but if you're not able to get back onto A and you try to flood bodies out towards B Street, most times then, or more times than not, I should say, that B site's not going to be open and available to you. Just not really in the cards there for a offensive round win. Ravens need to play A little bit more in that round. Got to try and stack for a few more ticks of progress on that zone. Instead, they only walk away with 2, so Farmingdale State up in the tick count early on here inside of this control. We'll see what they can do on another offensive attempt here. Carbonize, again, full streaks ready to go. He's actually not even running anything. I think that's really impactful at the moment. So,
yeah, calling that chopper, mate, really win the game for Farmingdale. But yeah, I got to say, like, as much as that was a great play from the side of Farmingdale, they were just relying on the gunny, and it paid off, mind you. But I wasn't seeing a lot of, methodical work here on the side of control, and so in terms of playmaking. I mean, maybe you don't need it, right? If it works, it works, right? At the end of the day, you're shooting people and killing them, and that'll just win. You win every gunfight. But I would like to see a little bit more, and maybe we'll see it here in this round. Stim missing that player under him, tries to go to the back line, doesn't quite find the kills he's looking for. Tez up front. Now they just swarm the A site, zone, sorry, and they'll get that first tick and continue chipping away at that. With a good amount of lives as well, considering they don't lose too many players here. But 50 seconds left to work with and grab this zone. It's looking pretty doable.
As stays alive. Gets back on the point, has help over the top, and they get away with a sloppy play there. They had the full A zone opened up for them to stack on it. Not a single person touched it. Lucky to get 2 ticks of progress out of it. 45 seconds left in the round. Lots of time to play with. Down by a life. Ravens on the opposite side. Staircase. Great shots from Stim as he's on 4 in a row. He can start to make his way out towards the pool side, and this is where things can get a bit shaky if you're the Ravens. Now everybody's trying to play the Mix Fest game. In towards the back end of spawn. Lots of players all over the place. Stack on the zone. Star the only one to make a play here. Able to find one up through the middle. Tries to snap back onto him. Stim, 6 in a row. Dangerously close to a Hellstorm. Flies the way up over towards Vault. Has the pistol out, and oh my goodness, snaps back to the SMG. That's pretty stuff there. And that gives them the opening to get back out onto B. A zone controlled. Now you've got full 3 ticks. You're still leading the firm count of ticks in the overall progress. Game 5, we go there. Oh, it's gonna be sexy.
Wow, wow, wow. Massive kills there out of Chip. Stops the streak and clears the point. Still got a lot of work to do if you're Carleton. 4 lives down. Tez in the back line as well. McBain finding a nasty 2-piece. I think it was Chip actually again. I mean, I can't tell. It's tripping me out. But Tez on a 4 spree, looking to try and continue it as he's still in the back line, just terrorizing this Carleton squad. Finally gets taken out by Chip, but yeah, I mean, I gotta say, Farmingdale with a great series of events yet again, relying on that gunny, and it is paying dividends for them. Lives starting to drop now, though. McBain still laying down that cover fire, able to get him with the car, and 7-6, lives are even. You got 50 seconds, a tick and a half, so you're halfway there in the B zone, but a lot of work to do. It
was 10-7. They didn't really have that much map presence. I was gonna say, this is still very doable. Lots of time, though, for the offense. Make their way around the map. Nade, perfectly placed from Tez. You got the palms completely taken care of. That was the counterattack to what you were trying to throw on the offense. Carbonized, shots up to the top. Pistol, dude, what are we doing? Ego chow up the anus. Tez tries to snap back and will make it work. 1 versus 5 now for Starry. They should get the last tick. They don't want to kill the final player. They're going to go ahead and do just that. Zones all the way captured, and that pretty much de facto guarantees them a defense on round 5 should we get there if the Ravens are able to take an offense here.
Bro, you just whipping out the pistol like that is crazy, but
whipping it out.
You know what I gotta say, the gunny cannot be questioned for the side of Farmingdale. They've got that down pat, and I liked what I saw there. It was a lot better. I mean, it doesn't matter. You're winning. You're playing well. Carleton looking a little bit slow, a bit sluggish, just struggling with the pace here. We talked about pacing earlier in the hard point and the search, but this is a little bit more. Be a little bit more pressure, right? When you've got someone in the back line just shooting every single player and you're watching your teammates die, you got to find them. It's a little bit more difficult to deal with. Still, I mean, a big offensive round win. So now they have defense and also defense round 5. It's going to be a very tall order for Carleton. We'll see what they've got. Already 3 off the rip, and that'll be a very quick blitz on the A zone. So a great start for Carleton. They've got to deal with Carbonize. He's still lurking around, but still, you've got a lot of work to do for Carleton. Yeah, dicey shots. Man, what is happening?
Well, the good news is you stacked the A point, something that Farmingdale were not able to do in the first or their second attempt on the offense. So you've got the full stack on A. You got 2 minutes and 11 seconds to work with to get back over to B. The only unfortunate bit of news is that pretty much everybody on the team has died. Pistol's still out from Carbonized, and they'll make it stick. So 4 in a row for himself. Spawn's pretty deep if you are the Ravens. Going to be trying to push down the field, and Mark Andrews is standing for a 2-point conversion. Is it going to be able to go down? Probably not this round at the moment, but still, a lot of time to play with.
A lot of lives lost there for Carleton, and I gotta say, it's not the worst series of events, but Farmingdale able to get themselves back in this round. But as I start to speak, 3 drop, and they can just start to pressure out this B zone now. Big shots from Chip as well to get that player top balcony. And now you can just stack this point, and this is already looking very scary for Farmingdale. Big 2-piece as well off screen to the side of Ailey. You've got Chip up front, grabbing some more kills. 2 ticks come through, and we're going to round 5, ladies and gentlemen. Somehow, out of nowhere, Carleton find the kills they need. They grab the point. It's 6 tick apiece. And I think at the end of this, Farmingdale only won the round 5 defense by maybe 1 tick. 2 ticks max, if I'm probably remembering right. Maybe I'm just faded,
it was 2.
But yeah, okay, 2. Cool. At least someone's keeping track and doing their job. Not me.
Look, I've never been one for math or stats keeping. That's why I don't do either. But in this situation, got a couple tallies written down, and I just really remember that first offensive round there for Farmingdale State. It was 3 ticks on the A site, 1 on B. Carleton, when they had opportunities to stack the A site, they instead try to send all of their forces out over towards B. So offensive once again. The Ravens were able to take the last one. Can they do it 2 straight rounds? Farmingdale State, they kind of at least should be able to make up and remedy for the mistakes that they made on the opening break last time through that allowed the A zone capture. Carleton want to go right back to their senses of what worked last time through. Top cat control for 2 players already on the Carleton side. Chip is able to snap for a double. Good Lord have mercy. Tez a trade there, but it's not enough. First tick of progress there. 5 in a row for 1 player on the Ravens side. And now as you look back up, Tez is going to have to either try to jump through the vault side here or look for maybe 1. Shots are good on. Now he has to wait for his teammates to get back in.
Yeah, nice kill there from Tez, but I think this A zone is long gone. You've got so much value out of these subs so far from the side of Carleton Ravens, time and time again. Even on the side of the AR as well, Chip has been frying with that AR. Ailey on that sub has made some pretty crucial plays. 27 kills for Ailey. Starry with 27 as well. Honestly, not making the craziest plays, but definitely laying out that consistent damage and kills that you need. And look at Ailey, just flow state right now. Even going for the ego shell. A little bit ambitious, not much you can do though. Carbonized drops. They're already in on the B zone. Car kill will take care of that, but so many kills dropping. You've got a good life lead if you're Carleton Ravens, and Farmingdale have to claw themselves back from out of their spawn as they continue to just be lambs to the slaughter, this Carleton squad.
Well, those close spawns for Ravens, too. They're going to be able to hit this aggressive over towards the north side of the map. Clock hasn't stalled out just yet. Ailey will fall. Starry has to watch himself. Re-heal up in the middle of the map. Going to be hard to break out of you here with the SMG. A lot of backline presence for Farmingdale State. 1 top art, 1 bottom art as well. They have information on where 1 player is going to be. Evoke has good timing. Shots were good for a moment, but the SMG up close is going to win it. 4 lives of separation. Farmingdale State on the defense, trying to hold them off. Clock is stalled out as they're trying to go for the first tick. Carbonize is here. Is the timing going to be enough? Shot shaky. He's got the pistol out and he makes a stick. He's inside of the vault away for free.
Yeah, I don't know where these reinforcements are coming in, but they're starting to make the kills now for the side of Carleton. Got Stim in the middle of the map now, trying to cut down these players. Looking to get a little bit over aggressive, make himself known, but does get out with his life. Wow. Big kill for Stim, but I mean, it's just not easy when you've got all these players to deal with. A minute as well, another tick on B. You're chipping away the progress, but right now you should honestly be focusing on lives if you're Ravens. Going for this point just isn't going to be beneficial when you're trading out and having power positions to deal with. You can see McBain, or maybe it's Chip, just praying for his life there on the pillar, hoping someone will come and save him, and here they are. Massive kills from them. Stim trying to get that pick as well, but not enough. So much value coming out from Carleton Ravens now. 8-13, Corn.
Double stack on it. Player inside of the vault. Carbonize. Lethal's tacticals trying to throw everything out he can. Gets around the left side. Pistol swap is there. They've got players. They've got 4 down. Everybody back to the respawn block. A lot of time to work with. 45 seconds. Slow down here for just a moment. Carleton going to try and set up their pretty much last play before they have to start a desperate push back towards the zone. Carbonize will further equalize it out. It's 7 versus 7 with 30 seconds to play.
Trying to play patient, but you've got Tez and Stim now in the middle of the map. They grab 3. It's everyone back to the spawn. Almost no respawns. I don't think it's going to come down alive just yet. 20 seconds left on the clock. They need to find themselves on this B zone. It's been neck and neck. A very strange control, but Carbonize on the AR just frying with this thing. 5 streak for him. Stim now aggressive with the sub. Going to shut everything down. 1 versus 4. Carleton, there's no way you could possibly do it. 4 seconds left on the clock. It's done and dusted, but a valiant effort nonetheless from the side of Carleton. And I gotta say as well, maybe he gets on that point and grabs that 2-piece. That could have been a bit different if there was a little bit more time, but yeah, ands ifs or buts, to be honest. But crazy match. Yeah, crazy match for map 3. What is happening? We weren't expecting crazy things from Carleton Ravens. They've come into this series and really shown us what they're made of. Great stuff so far. Map 1, 2, and 3 just been playing very well. Unfortunately, falling short here yet again on Volt. But we go to a Skyline next, which is the bonus for this squad.
Lots to unpack there from that control. And really nothing at the same time. Like, you know, it's control. So, I mean, we kind of expected it to go to round 5 regardless. But let's just kind of talk about Carleton there on the final round. It's a tough one because as much as you have time to play with, you're trying to get that stack in. You get that first pick and you think, hey, we're good here. Carbonize kind of makes a hero play. You get the first kill, you weaken one up with a nade, teammate comes help over the top, and you're able to get all 3, then the 4th down. I think at the end there, after 1 or 2 players died when they were trying to set up the large push to try and get map space to then take control of the B zone, I think what ended up happening was 1 or 2 players got caught off guard or didn't win the gunfight that they were supposed to, and then everybody kind of went into desperation mode. It was almost kind of like a barnyard panic. Everybody's kind of trying to fly around the lanes that they want to get to. Everyone's like, we just need to touch, we need to touch, we need to touch, we need to stall the clock out, instead of playing the calculated game. And I think at the mid tier, even like the top of the collegiate level, maybe not the top, but at least at like the mid to like higher tier of the CCL, a lot of teams still get in that mindset of we just have to go, instead of waiting for that contestation to where you can play it at, 2 seconds, 3 seconds or something like that on that final break, just to give yourselves the time to set up for it, just to get that first or second pick. If there's 35 seconds left, you lose 2 players, that's fine. You guys are still pretty much even or dead even on lives. You can make that play still happen. You just have to be able to set that up and have the confidence for everybody to get to the spots that they need to, instead of just flying over and over again. So that's something that the Ravens can get better on over the course of the year. And that could also just be jitters from the first game of the year in the collegiate space, being on the live stream. Although it's not like the biggest deal in the world to be in front of, 150, 200 people, that's more than your usually typical, or than your typical match is going to be, right? Maybe you have somebody in the OBS or in the Codcaster watching over the map or something like that, just for VOD purposes, right? But this is like, a streamed environment. People are watching. Stakes are high. You want to be able to take down this Farmingdale State team. Little mistakes like that, though, can go a long way. And we saw a few of those from both of those teams in that map specifically. Farmingdale State, there were times where they needed to stack the point. There was times where they needed to put 2-3 players on and not worry about pushing out the map too far. And that's what happens in Control a lot of the time, is like, instead of making that call to stack, a lot of players like to overheat at times, because it feels more like a hard point than it does a Control, where like, you can push out after collapsing on that zone, instead of just trying to play the map to the strengths of what you've given yourself in terms of space, and then being able to capitalize off of that. So it's one match of Control throughout the entire year. Nobody's going to really bat an eye looking back at this moment later on down the season, unless it's some crazy tiebreaker of one map that could have decided the swing of things. Regardless, though, plenty of things to work on, plenty of good things that we saw from that game too, but obviously it's easier to see the negatives than it is to directly point out the positives.
I think it comes down to a lot of inexperience, right? We talked about how Carleton haven't been competing in the last couple seasons, and I think it comes down to that, right? I'm not going to go on it too much, but Control is about those decisions. Where are you going to send your resources? Are you going to stack the point? Are you going to try and split? Are you going to have someone in the back line? Are you going to try and set up a spawn trap? All these split decisions that come into those final moments is what makes or breaks the Control. And in Carleton, we're a little bit lost, and I think it also plays into Farmingdale, where they just have kind of a set play style. They're just going to try and get into the positions, try and cut down the plays. They're just going to go for the kills no matter what. So they don't really have that decision to make. And it was kind of on Carleton to respond, and they, of course, didn't. But coming into map 4, Skyline Hardpoint, it's an interesting one, I got to say. Seeing these two teams go head to head, of course, the subs going to be pretty dangerous here going forward. But I don't know, Farmingdale looking pretty solid. They rely on the gunny, they rely on running it down, and it's a joy to watch. But for Carleton, maybe they struggle with the pace here a little bit of a Farmingdale. I'm not sure. It's a bit tough to call, honestly, looking at it and thinking it through in my mind right now going forward. I don't know how this is going to really play out. I think I favor Farmingdale slightly, but what are your thoughts on it, Colin?
I think these two teams, from the maps that we've seen, but more or less just the way that these rosters are kind of built and the way that they play, and especially Respawn, feel very similar to me in a lot of ways. They feel very comparable with how the SMGs play and how the ARs play. You see Farmingdale State, their ARs, when they're being able to get into those positions to hold down the map, yes, they're good, but it's the routes that they take and being able to play that next man up mentality. It's not just like, hey, I'm going to go play my spot on the map over here and be able to kind of hold down this area or hold this lane out. It's, again, that next man up mentality. If you have to hop the hill, if you have to be able to hop somewhere else, if somebody dies and pick something else up, you know where to be. If there's a call out that something needs to be picked up that you're not watching, they're on it. And both of these teams have that ability. So in a lot of ways, in the respawns, the aggression or the lack of aggression in certain moments, very comparable between the two teams. I think Carleton, at least from a lot of that Control, yeah, it's unfortunate they get two offenses back-to-back. You're not really going to win offenses, especially back-to-back all that much, regardless of one on a vault Control. But I think, from what we see out of them inside of map 3, there was a very almost calculated approach, and it felt like they were very in control of everything that they were trying to do. It wasn't like a scattered play. It was more objective focused. It was more right plays versus wrong plays and where the positioning on the map is going to be. And again, those can win you games and they can lose you games. You can be making the right plays the whole time. If timings aren't going your way or you're just not winning the gunfights that you're supposed to be winning, you can easily be on the poor end of a map loss. So again, I think these teams are very comparable. It's been a fun series to watch so far. I'm just a little more nervous if Farmingdale State lose this, that Carleton can just come out in map 5 and just bang them out again.
Yeah. I think, yeah. But yeah, crazy. Yeah, bang him out is crazy. But yeah, we're gonna keep moving forward from that one. Yeah, let's not up on that too long. Map 5 though, search and destroy. I just don't know how Carleton are gonna be prepared for this map. As much as we saw search and destroy clearly being Carleton, you know, in their ballpark, but it's just like Skyline's a little bit of a different story. It doesn't quite play like a Hacienda in some aspects. Yes, there's those set line of sights. There's not crazy amount of routing that you can do, and it is a little bit more restrictive. I get that, and there is that argument there. But at the same time, I think it's a lot easier to just get into those mixy gunfights that we saw that Farmingdale is so good at and excel at. But for now, we're going to have to see if Carleton are able to grab this hard point, which the respawns haven't been going their way. They need one here. Map 4 coming up.
Skyline hardpoint. Although it's one match, you never know what these look like at the end of the year. And, you know, it's like the NBA or the NFL, right? You know, some people, they like tuning into the regular season games. Other people, they just like watching the playoffs because it's more exciting. But one of these small games throughout the season with two teams who are very evenly matched could very well come down to who makes it to a top or like a higher seed, or who potentially misses out on something big. So Evoke looking in the back end. It's going to be 3 kills on the opposite end though. So for Carleton Ravens, you clear out the point. You don't allow Farmingdale State to really get anything off of that opening break that they were able to win. But now sitting inside of P1, you've got Evoke and the AR on power positions. You just need to be careful because there's bodies on each side.
Yeah, P1 already grabbing some time, pretty even. P2 is where we're going to have to be looking, and so far Farmingdale not really having any players quite towards the P2 is what they're kind of looking for. Got number 4 trying to get through, Evoke. Oh no, sorry, it will be Stim. Bastari and Ailey are able to take quick work of it. They do spot the player in the back as well and grab the kill, so that's massive for Carleton as they continue to try and hold on to these spawns. Never mind, they flipped. So yeah, big blunder from Carleton. They go for the P1 time, it cost them the spawns, and now you've got a lot of players to deal with. Tez still in that back line, able to secure the spawns for Farmingdale, and now P2 online, and they can grab some big time here.
I was gonna say, oh no way, a spawn flip on P2 for Skyline, crazy. Up to the ropes, Stim there for 2, Farmingdale State winning the important gunfights in the back end. And now if you're Chip, really, you're just trying to make the solo play in a 1v2 up towards the top. Shots were good onto the second. The snap just wasn't perfect as you'd hope it might be. The 6 and 4 start. Starry looking pretty good here in the early goings of this hard point. Into the back line. Ailey tries to pipe. But I mean, right now, I was calling them calculated. I was saying, hey, they're making good plays. These have been a lot of just aggressive and uncalled for solo chows from the Ravens. I get it. It's a bang out map. I get it. Skyline, but boys, let's rein it in for a little bit and try to at least make something stick. Don't just keep flying up the ropes and hoping you get 1 or 2 kills. It's not how you're gonna win this map.
Yeah, they're looking a little bit flustered, a little bit I don't know if I should say nervous, but definitely not looking clean and coordinated and polished like we would expect. But P3 online, and somehow Farmingdale have actually gotten the break immediately after that big P2 hold. You saw them getting the rotations in. I think it was just one player from Farmingdale that really stunted that, and they've got spawns towards the middle of the map. You're trying to get through and find this break. You do find 3 players, so that's massive from the side of Ravens, but still so much time ticking up, and Stim with some beautiful movement to get around that player. Sorry, my apologies, Evoke. No, it is Stim. Wait, man, I can't deal with this podcaster no more. It just throws me off every time. Regardless, though, they're soaking up the time. Still yet to get a break. Finally, Ravens are in.
Lay back down. 60-point deficit. Looking to close this out. Scrap time at 20 seconds here on P3. But if you played ranked play, you played COD, if you watched any sort of Call of Duty this year, you know how hard P4 can be to break. They're going to try and hit it directly from the bottom here. 2 players inside of the closet and through the bedroom. Unfortunately, the first 2 in are going to be the first 2 to drop. Evoke is the contestant player trying to play the top side of bedroom. Going to recognize, hey, nobody's over by the bedroom side. They're trying to push over through the bar. That should be the call out to Farmingdale State to try and put some more pressure over towards P3. But through the front, also need to be careful of those few players coming through. Close spawn's going to stick. Farmingdale State stay in control.
and they can afford to keep trading these out. Tez up top, looking to try and get aggressive, maybe cut down some of these players. An unfortunate team kill. Ailey has been so impactful so far on this map, 11 and 8, having so many wonderful kills, but unfortunately for Ravens, they just can't capitalize on it. No one else is there to really help, or maybe it's too little too late for the play to come through. 27 seconds left on this point, and it's not even a great amount of scrap time you're going to get if you so happen to get this break, which Ailey does find too. But again, 18 seconds is better than nothing, I guess, but you're giving so much pressure and lead to Farmingdale so far as they continue to just carry this momentum as we go to a second set.
It took long enough for Farmingdale State to finally kind of live up to what we were talking about with a bang-out map, but I mean, once they start getting aggressive, once they get going, I mean, it's just so hard to stop them. It's a ram party here, and Stim's going to add to it. 115, 50 on the scoreboard at the moment. You look back up towards the top, Stim will play his life here down below. You got one inside of Jim. Top E2 Plat watched over as well.
Wow.
Maybe a bit aggressive there.
Yeah.
Stim on the gunfight. And Carbonized, he's been swapping to the pistol like a madman all game long. Turns around at the wrong time. So it's a Ravens who get some much needed hill time. Evoke will try to look for some shots over the top. It doesn't recognize Story from the piano side. So the crosser works out for Carleton. They get some much needed presence on the map to go along with that hill time we talked about beforehand. It's a cherry on top, but the rotation over towards P2 not sticking at the moment.
At least grabbing some good time here. And as you said, the rotation towards P2 is what's going to be important here for Farmingdale if they want to keep this lead. But Carleton are in. They've got some good scrap time there on P1, or some good time, I should say. Not even scrap, but it will be Bane off screen grabbing a big 2. Starry with the 3rd. And now just so difficult for Farmingdale to get those players in and get those bodies that they need to try and break into this next hard point. You can see the map pressure they're trying to apply, but 3 players from Farmingdale now in the back line that you have to deal with. Starry gets aggressive, able to find one. That's a 5 streak for Starry. The help there from the side of McBain will be great. And it's a great hold for P2. They can't really do anything to break it. They're trying to throw bodies at it, but you've got a good setup. Unfortunately, Starry getting a little bit over-aggressive, not getting the Hellstorm, but I think the players have enough gunfire here to take care of them. But yeah, Farmingdale dropping the ball here on these 2 rotations.
Tez tried to get aggressive, didn't realize that the spawn's close. Didn't allow them to push that catwalk as fast as they did. So as Carleton's able to resurface a bit here inside of map 4. Scoreline gets ever closer to a tie game. Farmingdale State, after what was a great first set of rotations, now have to play on the back end of P3. Try to recollect themselves a bit here, slow the pace down maybe a bit. Carleton definitely on top of the trades at the moment. As Evoke will play over towards P1, this is an angle that you need to take care of quickly, and as the nade comes through, they do just that. So P3, 2 players inside of it, one's playing over by the closet for some help, but it's a break immediately in for Carleton. Farmingdale spent so much time to try to play for P3, and the spawn's over by P4, but they fully neglected that initial time, and Carleton will nudge that lead even closer.
Yeah, and we talked about having the playmaking versus just the run-it-down style of Farmingdale, and right now we're seeing the first part of this match go completely to Farmingdale with a massive lead, 80 points, I believe, or something like that. And now Carleton completely taken by storm. That deficit, no more, and that lead for them extending as McBain gets a nice 2-piece to just keep this pressure on this point. They do need to get rotations for new. We saw how much of a money hill it is, and it's notorious for being a money hill, but so far, Farmingdale completely wiped off the map. Spawns flip, and they have to try and fight off the back foot now in a big deficit.
So just for perspective on the table here, Farmingdale State have gotten about 25 points collectively through 3 hard points as Carleton continue to run the board completely. Yeah, sure, north side of the map, you've got control at the moment, but as Stim falls and Evoke falls, now the hill sits vacant, and you have Carleton who are all flooding around. You spot one towards the bottom of the bedroom, dead. 4 streak for Ailey, now tries to snap back onto top cat, and if he wins that gunfight, it might be hallelujah for Farmingdale State. Map 5 creeping ever closer now as Starry stays alive, snaps back over towards the bedroom and stays alive by the toilet, 9 HP, hops to the shower. It's always good to take a shower after you take a shit.
Fair enough, mate. That's wise words if I've ever seen it. But the help of Ailey, able to get 2 in the back. Unfortunately, Spawn's not flipping for Farmingdale. And now you've got so much time soaking towards Carleton Ravens. It's a money hill yet again, but for the side of Ravens this time. And they might get some scrap here, but it's a little too late. So much time has been accrued now in that P4 and P3, and they've chained together these hills beautifully for Ravens. So we might be seeing a map 5 here on what was looking like such a dominant Farmingdale performance here early in this map. Now we see Ravens getting a second wind here, and they are taking it by storm. Farmingdale having no answer to what Ravens are putting forward.
Brave Bird activated. Ailey on the point. 200-point mark crossed now here for the side of the Ravens as he tries to snap back to the right. Dude, oh my goodness. It's been so close for a couple of highlight plays on this Ravens roster. But Astari pushes up the map. 45 seconds remain on P1 and time continues to tick away up the staircase. Finds a second with his pants down. Evoke, where you looking, buddy? Spawns flip across the map. P2 held down. You've got one still here over by the helipad. But as Tez hops up towards the top, Starry can slip all the way through.
Yeah, Starry is having an absolute map right now. 29 and 19, 6 streak as well. 28 and 21 from Ailey. Another play that we've seen time and time again for Ravens. They're on P1 soaking up all of this time. They don't have P2 rotations yet. Never mind, they do. McBain in the back. Starry with another kill. And Ravens just not letting go of the gas. And Farmingdale looking clueless right now. Grabbing 9 seconds of scrap time. What was looking like so... I guess just clueless from Ravens, and now we're seeing the complete opposite from Farmingdale. Starry with another 2-piece, and this map might be done and dusted right here, Corn.
35 points in 6 different hard points going into P2 here. McBain on 6 in a row, make it 7. It's a break through the front from Farmingdale State, but all that's needed is 10 seconds here from the Carleton Ravens. And as they try to sprint back across the map, they'll set up one more attempt here to break inside of P2 for what could be the final time in the game. Farmingdale State will walk away with one consolation kill. Starry in the backside. Got a few more players looking for the help here, and it's about to be a hit towards the piano side. 2 players now. Player 7 and Starry up the ropes. Looks for the one on the left side corner. Shots are good, and they'll make them stick. 25 seconds. Still players swarming from Farmingdale State, but that might just do it from Chip.
Wow, pinstripe kill feed. Unfortunately, one more play to deal with. McBain slides up the rope. Now he's left alone in this 0.5 seconds left. McBain looking to close this out here and now for Ravens. You've got players coming up through the front. Farmingdale at least delayed the inevitable, but no one towards New. It's going to be up to Tez. He gets taken out, and that will be it for Ravens as they continue this series and go to a map 5 with a very nice map 4. I would love to see the graph on that for the points. Wow. What a series. What a map.
You and I both. I am ready to see one line go straight up to the moon. And I'm ready to watch the other one just stay flatlined. And, well, if there was a dip, it'd be a Hilly Welch meme coin. So, LOL, pump and dump central. But, I mean, realistically speaking, Ravens, dude. I mean, look,
Man.
I was like, okay, you know what? Slow start. I get it. I thought Farmingdale State finally were going to take control of the series. And every time I open my fat mouth trying to say something good for Farmingdale State, the Ravens just come back on the opposite end. So, look. We got ourselves the Hail Mary. We got ourselves down the field. I referenced it once. I'll reference it again. We're going for the 2-point conversion. Can the Ravens convert on it, or will Mark Andrews drop the ball once again? We'll have to find out. I'll use the reference over and over again until that's burned and etched into everyone's memory. Shout out football. If you're a Ravens fan, I don't care. I'm sorry to bring it back up. I'm a Dolphins fan. 25 years. No playoff wins. Never seen it. It's okay.
You're not even talking language that I understand because I'm so isolated from this side of the world. But yeah, look, I'm sure there's people out there that are loving that. But I gotta say, Ravens after that performance, and we're gonna take a look at the breakdown here. This is what we wanted to see. Yeah, look at that plateau. Just man, it was crazy to watch. It looks like a DNA helix. Like, I don't know what is happening, but I don't think I've ever seen it go like that. So dominant into really just nothing.
Let's see, 112 to 133, 133 to 134, then 137, 142, 146. That is not optimal, I think is the best way to say it without saying the words I would actually use. Let's be candid. Yeah, Farmingdale State, the Rams, buddies. Hey, let's chalk it up, regroup, go map 5. We go back to Skyline once again. Look, I'll use a caveat and I'll kind of, bring it back up a point you were using earlier on when we were talking about Skyline versus Hacienda when it comes to search and destroy. Search and destroy on Hacienda, you can afford to play a bit more passive. You can play some of those further back angles and allow the offensive team to have to push the map up. Skyline, not as much. Skyline, you can try to play some of those defensive angles out towards the grill side. You can try to get A control. But if the offense gets aggressive and they get to the lane first and you're not willing to throw bodies and go trade for trade with the opposite team, that's when things start to get out of hand on a map like Skyline. So as Farmingdale was willing to do it the entire time. I think Carleton's more than willing to do it now, though. The SMGs, they weren't missing. Let's be completely candid. I don't see that stopping. Ravens have full momentum now. Farmingdale State, hey Rams, let's go Rams. Let's do something cool. But we're playing in snowy weather up in Philadelphia, and we can't really run the wall too well. Maybe we'll fumble it once again. 2 for 2.
Yeah, well, we've got a lot to say about this next match up and coming. Ravens taking the first S&D by storm, but different map and a very different play style. Before we get into this map 5, we're going to send you guys to a quick break, but do not go anywhere because this is a banger series and an even better map number 5 coming up here shortly. Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to what was looking like a pretty solid series towards Farmingdale when we're in the pre-show, but now looking like Ravens might have the favorite here going into a map 5 search and destroy on Skyline. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It's do or die for these two teams in this match, and already trading out. Ravens down, never mind, the teams are switched the wrong way. I was confused myself. Ravens up 3-2.
Slide shot on the back. Spots went out. I'm not exactly sure where we were looking there. Probably down and not at the top of our screen, which, fair. 1v3 though. Taz lost alive. Gonna slide down the backside staircase. Looks for the first gunfight, and Chip was ready for it. More than well aware is the player that's trying to play for the re-wrap by the bunker side. So you get shot through the closet. The Ravens, they get aggressive on that site immediately, and that offense, that first round, handily favor the Ravens.
A great round. Great round. I mean, this is what we come to expect out of them in the search and destroy. Calm, calculated, polished, clean, precise. And we've seen it here again in that first round. Looking solid, and now it's going to be up to Farmingdale on the attack to try and see how they match up towards Ravens' defense. We saw on the Hacienda, they love to run it down, they love to get aggressive, and we might see it here yet again on a map that's pretty much known for that. So they're going to try and get the bomb down immediately on A. Play this safe. Ailey, though, with the first blood, gets out with his life as well. Massive pick, and now a 3v4 retake for Ravens.
Not sure with 2 bodies there how he was able to manage to even find one, but let alone get out with his life. But here we go. 3 versus 4, trying to hold back with the retake. Carleton spread across the map. They've got a good 2-2 split pinch, trying to fly their way back in. One behind the bar. Glass is going to be broken. Awareness now for Farmingdale State of where players are going to be coming from. Stim's able to escape through middle map. Shots are going to be good from Carbonize as well. So realistically speaking, with 17 seconds left here, you just have to fly your way forward and everybody dies. It was dead. It was death.
It's a massacre, man. They just came in there and cleaned house with Farmingdale State. I honestly didn't even know where those players were all playing, but I think Ailey just surviving that long was crucial there. They turned their attention towards him and then dropped 2 players in the process, and it was just it was chaos. And we see here Chip as well, that last kill. Tez trying to go the pick, not quite. Big Chow, and 2 rounds straight for Ravens, looking good in the search and destroy so far.
Will we be afforded the same fate that Farmingdale State had in map 2? This is what I was more worried about than not. Getting the hard point looked good for the Rams. First 2 rounds back on Skyline. Much more continuing the same from the second half of map 4. Sorry looks to push his way forward. 1 jump Chow's across Evoke. I mean, I like it to try and peek somebody off. You're just running into 2 players who are ready for a gunfight there, knowing somebody's probably going to jump on out. Carbonize gets the wrong timing on a challenge. Things not going the way for the Rams. And well, Ailey's like, all right, well, if you're going to give me this life for free, I guess I'll take the bomb planet.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do if you're Farmingdale State here? Tez and Evoke left at a 2 versus 4. They grab 1, and Evoke gets caught lacking, so now it's Tez in a 1 versus 3. With 35 seconds left on the clock, an AR in the hands, and a very tough series of kills that he will not grab. And a nice snap there as well to end things off. Ravens looking solid, and what was such a hard-fought series for both of these teams is now looking like it's going to end pretty quickly and pretty comfortably for Ravens.
Only 3 rounds in, so there's still time to play. With how quickly these rounds on Skyline start to evaporate, if you find yourselves dug in a hole, feels like you're slipping ever further and further into quicksand. Maybe an under route towards the vent is in order for one of the Farmingdale players here. Maybe you try to run it back down in towards A and try to 3-on-3 this gunfight against the Ravens. They've got players towards the outside. Starry and McMahon once again will open up with a double. You try to slide back across. Starry's already pushed up. Ailey's there, and well, Stim 1v4, full body exposed up on the top of bedroom. You're at least able to hop over the glass so you don't give away an audio cue, but really how long are you going to be able to stay alive is the key here. If they feed him 1 or 2 kills, it becomes a bit more doable, but Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, you've got 50 seconds to work with. You can at least isolate some players here. I would not be surprised to see that at least some of these players are going to be sticking together, and we see that with 2 and 4, Alien Chip. So Stim's got a lot of work to do. 40 seconds on the clock, stun goes out. You've got some utility to work with as well, but you're not really making much progress towards the map, and with no information, it's really just dangerous to pick any single angle here, and you can see how cautious he's being with 30 seconds left now, the timer turning red. Long-range engagements that could be coming up here for the sub. I think he got spotted there across the full side, and he will. So Ravens, again, another very swift, clean round that they lose one player, and it's not even a challenge really. It's weird to see because you know, we talk about search and destroy and good S&D teams, bad S&D teams, and when you think about search and destroy as a game mode, and you think, okay, well, if the teams are evenly matched and they can shoot straight, it should be pretty even on a search. You know, maybe they win some rounds here and there, but this is just dominance from Ravens. Like, it's just pure and utter dominance. They literally have no answer. They're not doing anything. It literally looks like Ravens are playing a team that's never played in their life, but obviously this series we've seen, it's been so close, and Farmingdale was so close to even winning this series. It's just Ravens are just that much better on search and destroy. They're just so calculated in their approach.
That's forced to back off, and I mean, you have to expect that somebody's going to be at the top of the bedroom there. Starry will pop a double. He stays down. Stim tries to challenge it out with the SMG. He gets bloodied up as he goes back. So you're weak inside of the B zone. You got 2 players left alive. You've played a lot of solo chows across the map throughout the entire game, and you're second guessing the angles that the side of Ravens are going to be coming from. There's just so many things that feel like missteps on the side of Farmingdale right now. The Rams feel out of sync, out of pace, and discombobulated. You might be able to get a consolation round here, but in a 2 versus 2, I'm not even feeling too sure and too confident about it. We swap off the cam here for just a moment, get back to it. We watch Chip fall now in a 1 versus 2. Starry, this could be the nail in the coffin. Bad timing for Stim, somehow stays alive and escapes into B, and then comes the trade over the top. So Farmingdale, hey, first round on the board, fantastic. But again, it feels like that round was almost like kind of scrapped together. It didn't feel like it was going to be a Farmingdale win. Sure, they were able to come out top in some gunfights, but gotta start somewhere, I guess.
Just a lot of individual plays from Farmingdale, and you know, they rely on these individual plays a little bit too heavily. You know, Ravens super coordinated, and against a team like that, these individual plays will get called out, they'll get caught off guard, and you're going to pay the price for them. So that's why we're seeing this score. It's up on our screens right now, and it's a very anticlimactic finish. You know, I have no doubt that Ravens are, you know, I would love to keep everyone in suspense and say, you know, it's looking like it might be a close match, but we saw how Ravens played on the Hacienda. It's a rinse and repeat here on the Skyline. There would have to be something massively changed for Farmingdale in their approach here to make me think otherwise. But realistically, if we're looking at it, yeah, Ravens looking like they're going to take the map 5 and the series. But still, down a player in this round. 3 versus 4. Tez, Stim, and Evoke looking to try and get this out. But Tez with a nice round, able to find one, backs up, takes the zip up top as well, looking for one more. Knife onto McBain. It's carbonized, my apologies, but a 3K and a massive round from the side of Farmingdale. As we said, as I said, sorry, that they rely on the individual plays. That is one that cannot go unnoticed. My goodness, what a play.
Dude, they line if Stark comes out a half second sooner and they line up as he's dropping the hip fire on the prone, he gets all 4 right there. Oh my god. Oh, we're talking about the top plays of the week. The after action report would have absolutely had that stacked and packed into it, but okay, 2 rounds. This is well, more than we got in map 2. But I'm still not fully confident yet. A few hero plays on the side of Farmingdale after still first bloods going to Carleton have been the weak link so far. Still looking. 15 seconds taken off the board, and Evoke will finally find a first blood. That's Farmingdale's first blood of this search and destroy in the 7th round. Bomb will be going down at A, though. Tez will get a stun in. The check should be there. Semtex backs out. He's forced to back off. But in a 3 versus 4, Carleton need to hold on. Again, I just don't want this to be like the Hacienda where they took too long on B.
Yeah, but I think they've got more than enough players now to try and swarm this site and take the retake. 30 seconds left. 1 player for the side of Ravens. It's going to be McBain. Needs to get this player off the defuse. Not a lot of time remaining. Tries to go down bottom. I think this route's taking a little too long. Finds 1. Not quite the second. Tries to go for the diffuser. Honestly, probably should have gone for the diffuser first in that situation, but you know, hindsight, you see the player there, you get scared, you just want to shoot him. But yeah, I mean, I gotta say, I'm about to eat my words massively. Farmingdale coming out with some big rounds here, and looking like this might be a bit more of a fight than I expected. Usually I give teams all the credit, and the one time I don't, they start making me eat my words. So, you know, lesson learned for me, cast a curse.
It starts with a round win in a 3 versus 4. Carbonize all of a sudden wraps his way back, finds 3, energy and life breeding into the side of the Rams. Now with Stim on 5 in a row, has an RC caller that he's going to call out early on in this round. Going to opt to take it up through middle map, and I love this play. Don't put it in an angle where it could get shot too easily. You'll get peeked out from the bottom of gym, but you know that one player is going to be there. So Carbonize, he's just watching over by Piano. He wants to push out, and I don't know if I love that challenge just yet. A Semtex and a stun came through. He was a little bit low. That's 3 versus 4. Now Farmingdale State are going to be forced to try and play for a pick, and nobody from the Ravens wants to push up the map just yet. You're going to get peeked out from the right side. More information given to the defense. They know that they don't have to move.
I mean, bomb down in a very awkward spot now, and I think they know because they've pushed up and taken a bit more space. So 3 versus 4 for Farmingdale. This will give up match point or tie the map so far. And in a map 5, you've got to be icy. We've got to see the ice. We saw them crumble a little bit on the control, Ravens, and I don't think they're going to give up that opportunity again here on the S&D. 4-3 down. Farmingdale up to 2 players.
I mean, I get at the beginning of the round, you want to play for that streak. You drop all the way down, though. And I mean, all the work that you did to try and play for that streak the entire time just goes to waste. You spend half of the round in a corner, waiting for somebody to push through catwalk, get aggressive maybe towards top bed. Instead, you just try to make that desperation push in that 2v4 out towards the bottom of gym, and you don't get the timing that you would have liked. Great shots from Ailey, though, towards the end there to snap onto the second. That's a hard gunfight to win regardless. You were already weak going into it. Now Carleton will put themselves in match point. 5-3. Farmingdale did a great job of putting themselves in a position to potentially tie the game up right there. But now as we go into this final round, it's first blood or nothing. I need the Rams to find themselves a good opening break-off, or this one's pretty much shipped and sealed.
This is do or die. Match point here for Carleton. They've been playing so well in the Search and Destroy. It's been a close series. This could be the final round for Farmingdale. Bomb now starting to go down. Stim looking to try and make a route throughout the bottom area here, but got Tez trying to get this trade onto the planner. Ailey trying to stay down. Does trade. Sorry, Carbonize, my apologies. Now 3 versus 3. 35 seconds on the clock. It's a post plant in effect. No play is really close for the side of Ravens. Now Starry trying to check, but it's a dead body. Shoots at Chip, though, off screen. Able to find Carbonize with the help here. So now a 2 versus 2 corn. And a very awkward series of engagements. This could be it for Farmingdale. Now all up to Evoke. 20 seconds left. A 1 versus 2 would have to be the clutch of a lifetime. But I think it's done and dusted. No one giving him an angle. And that is the series. Ravens with a phenomenal set of plays here towards the end of this match, and they have made their stand here on the Search and Destroy to clean house. Wow, what a series, though. I cannot understate that. Wow.
All right, Canada, let's go. We got more representation. I love that. We're back. We're back to the days of Hawken 47. We're taking maps off good teams. I love this for you guys. I love this for Carleton. I love this for the Ravens roster. This team, brand new to the CCL. Nobody really knew anything about this team or what they were going to be able to provide going forward. Tons of talking points and conversation that was about Farmingdale State not playing with CDL Pub Star tonight, not having Spades on this roster, how they were going to be able to mesh together. I promise the score above my head right now is not 1-0 for Farmingdale State. It's 1-0 for Carleton on the opposite side, wherever my finger's going to point there. I'm going to be honest with you. Ravens look good. And if this is the signs of a young team starting to blossom or a team that is well practiced and they'll be able to get better throughout the course of the year, I'm happy. I'm excited because more competition at the top end means more fun matches and means that the CCL community is growing organically from different teams that are going to be able to put themselves forward inside of the CCL. Names that we've never heard before being entered into the hat. Teams that have been good in previous series or previous titles, maybe falling off a bit when they lose a player or two. So Farmingdale State, a lot of people had them at the top, or maybe not the exact top end, but they still had them decently high up in the power rankings. They're going to take a dip down. Carleton are going to jump up. I don't expect Farmingdale State to take a huge drop down, but the S&D needs work, and that's for damn sure.
Yeah, and I think that Ravens as a team, and I was about to say this earlier in the series, but I think it's a great point to kind of end the series on. Ravens as a team, at least from my perspective and seeing this match, their ceiling and their floor is going to be so high as they continue to develop, right? They have a lot of potential. They've got all the right mindset, and it's just about execution in a lot of these matchups, right, that we saw in the control, in the hard point. And they have the potential. We've seen them win the series, but to go further, as you said, to kind of breed that that skill that they're looking for, it takes that to playing this regular season and playing these matches and to continue to get better and have experience. And that's the problem that we have down in APAC challenges, is that there's no players, right? And we start to see that when it comes to other kind of challenger places as well. When you look at other aspects of Call of Duty, I saw Infinity tweet about EU kind of getting a bit stale, where you have the top teams just continuously playing each other, and the problem is that they don't want to play the bottom teams, and the bottom teams don't get to play the top teams, so they don't get better, and then the bottom teams don't, the top teams don't get enough diversity and enough experience, then So having teams come into the fray that aren't previously known or aren't necessarily favorites and continue to develop and also play and improve is one part of the beauty of a tournament or a structure like CCL, but also just the kind of nature of what these teams are kind of looking for in general, right? That's what they play for. It's not necessarily always about winning. It's not necessarily always about having the craziest plays and that sort of thing, right? It's about improvement and playing on stream. That creates pressure. That creates an environment where you can continue to thrive and improve and get better throughout the season. So I'm excited to see it. And as you said, some people just come in for the playoffs, but that's the beauty of watching those regular season matches. It really is about seeing these teams develop, and you see it all across Call of Duty or really any branch of talented sports or esports.
Yeah, and kind of wrap my thoughts up on the series right now. Carbonize still Carbonize, Tez still Tez. Stim and Evoke both played some pretty good maps throughout the series. There were a few dips from a few players that we might have liked to see have better maps on the side of Farmingdale State. But again, because we didn't really lean into the fact that because we didn't know much about the Carleton roster at the beginning of the series, I want to give spotlights to each and every individual player. But two of the players that I really thought kind of left a lasting impact, at least on my brain, from the majority of those games, specifically with SMG impact, Alien Sorry. When they combined together and they were running around the map, it felt like the world was closing in on Farmingdale, and they weren't able to break out and do the things that they were typically able to do in any given best of 5 series or any given map. I am excited to watch those two grow together. I'm excited to watch this entire roster for the Carleton Ravens play together. And again, I don't want to take away from McBain and Chip either, just by highlighting those two other names. But watching those two play was a lot of fun for me. The support that they have in that backline really is stout. I want to see this team grow over the course of the year. I think they have the makings to be an upset or a dark horse potential in the later portion of the year. And hell, this might even be too early. We might even not be calling them a dark horse at the end of the year. If they put their ducks in a row and they start quacking, I mean, dude, let's go Ravens. I didn't think I'd be saying that. My roommate's a Baltimore fan, and I don't like the Ravens. They beat us down too many times.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Ravens did, as you said, bang them out of this series. So yeah, it's a done and dusted. Ravens 3-2, looking solid, and we can't wait to see how they improve. That's going to be it from this match. Got one more match for today up and coming. We're going to send to a break as we get things set up for that. But what a series, man. It's been a pleasure for me and Corn. So we'll see you guys soon.